welcome back to Cooking with Chef Jeff. In this video, I'll show you how to transform your average ramen noodles into a delicious and healthy dish I like to call ramen noodles with Thai peanut sauce. Now, to get started, here's the list of ingredients that you will need for this recipe. Now feel free to get creative with the vegetables and proteins in this recipe. I've made this recipe before with tofu. It would also work great with grilled chicken breast. And if you're not a big fan of spinach, which you should be, you could also substitute that for some thinly sliced cabbage or some bean sprouts. Now, the first thing that we're going to do to get started on this recipe is whip up our Thai peanut sauce. Now I'm going to add some soy sauce to my container here. I'm actually using packets of soy sauce, and in this recipe I ended up using 2. And to that I'm going to add a little bit of sriracha sauce. This recipe does have some heat to it, so feel free to adjust the proportions as needed. I'm also going to add some chili garlic paste. And last but certainly not least, the peanut butter. Now most peanut butters that you buy at the store will have some added sugar, so if you're using a natural peanut butter, you may want to add some sugar to this sauce. Now all that's left is to mix it up until it's well combined. And that's it, the sauce is pretty easy. You're just going to want to make sure that you really mix in that peanut butter until it looks something like this. Nice and smooth. Once you're happy with the way your sauce looks, go ahead and just set it to the side until we need it. For the remainder of our recipe, the biggest ingredient is going to be hot water, so make sure you have plenty of it. I'm going to be using this electric kettle, but microwave water or stovetop water will work just fine. I'm just going to add some water to my electric kettle, add my eggs, and then wait for the water in my kettle to start getting hot. Now once the bubbles start forming, I'm just going to go ahead and close the lid to my kettle and wait for about 7 minutes for the eggs to cook. Now at 7 minutes I ended up with hard-boiled eggs. If you wanted to wait less time, you would end up with these really nice soft-boiled eggs, which would have also worked really well with this dish. Now that the eggs are done, I'm just going to take them out and let them rest for a few minutes before I peel them. In the meantime, I'm going to get started on the ramen noodles. I'm just using a standard block of ramen noodles, but you can use whatever sort of ramen noodles you like. I'm not going to touch the seasoning packet at all because the sauce that we've made already has enough flavor for this dish. So to my container, I'm just going to add my ramen noodles, grab some of my hot water, and fill the container until the ramen noodles are completely submerged and begin to float like you see here. I'm just going to let the ramen noodles hang out until they begin to soften up. I'll be checking them periodically here with my fork. Not quite done yet. Until they completely start to separate and look something like this. Once they're done, you can just drain the excess water and then set them aside until we need them. Now to focus on the vegetables. So to my container, I'm just going to go ahead and add my spinach here, followed by my sliced mushrooms, followed by my sliced red onions, and it wouldn't be a party without my julienne carrots. Now all we're going to do to our vegetables is just blanch them in a little more hot water. You don't want to cook the vegetables all the way through, you still want them to retain their color and have a little bit of a bite to them. We're looking to make them soften up just a bit. Now you're going to want to stir the vegetables gently just to make sure that they've all softened evenly. Once the spinach is wilted and the rest of the vegetables remain vibrant, go ahead and drain the vegetables and set them aside. And now it's time to bring this dish together. We're going to add our noodles to our bowl, place our vegetables on top, and then finally lay our sauce right over the top. Now you're going to want to try to fold the sauce into the noodles and the vegetables. That way we don't end up with any broken pieces. Once everything is evenly coated, all that's left is to add our toppings. To mine, I'm going to add some green onions, some cilantro, sesame seeds, and last but not least, our perfect hard-boiled eggs. And that's it, a perfect meal that could only be made better by just a little bit of sriracha sauce. And now it's time to eat up and enjoy. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of this recipe in the comments below. If you have an idea for my next video, leave me a comment. And if you'd like to experience more cooking with Chef Jeff, subscribe.